kind of stands back, leaning back against the wall right beside the door, arms crossed.
He's leaning. The Emperor. He's all rude.
He's
Uh,
leaning, watching all of you.
but by the way,
Oh, I
so
think you said
so the
Groot.
second Kindra would have seen like the Emperor, she would have shown uncharacteristic respect towards him.
And
Tevin does sketch a bit of a bow to him as well.
as he surveys across all of you, I'm just going to warn you, I think the Emperor will likely have a cat. We will see. I can hear her.
And new shoes.
Yes. But he does have clothes. So
Important.
All
Thank
good
God.
things.
please.
Well, I mean, we say he has clothes.
Please be seated. We have much to discuss, and I sense that the urgency of this situation is likely something that will push you all to action rather than words.
I look down. Are there chairs?
There are chairs, yeah.
Okay, good.
Sit on the floor.
I didn't know if this was like, like crisscross applesauce kind of deal.
No, they brought in chairs for you.
I will sit.
I
A bow and a
understand.
sit.
I understand that you have all made requests for provisions. These will be provided momentarily. They are on their way here.
We
Thank-
appreciate it.
I thank you all for your cooperation in this matters, as we will likely stand a much better chance of success in these endeavors with you working alongside us. I think everyone is in agreement on that. Wonderful. So, I have been briefed that this staff of the elders is our one and only goal in this endeavor. You are being tasked with traveling into the temple itself, retrieving it, and bringing it back out. At which point, it will be in the custody of the Drakoran Empire. However, if there are other uses for it, you are more than welcome to lend yourself to those causes, and if they seem to be in the protection of the greater good, both within the Empire and outside for the protection of people, then perhaps we can make a case to using it in those regards. My primary concern is that no one takes matters into their own hands. And he's just staring at Kendra right now. And all is safe. You bear not only the fate of your party in your hands, but I will remind you, you are nestled beneath the largest city of mortal kind at the moment. Should something calamitous happen, this entire city will likely plunge into the Underdark.
Excuse me, if I may interject there.
You may not. I am not finished.
Please
There'll
continue.
be plenty of options for you to speak when I am done. I appreciate your exuberance in this matter. But there's a time to talk and a time to listen. This is a time for all of you to listen. Are you done?
Please continue, sir.
Thank you. I am sending Karut and Affy in alongside you. They are my eyes and my ears, and ultimately I've given Karut final jurisdiction over any decisions that need to be made there. You are encouraged to work with him and to offer any guidance or advice or perspective you may have. But ultimately, if there's a decision to be made, Karut will make it. Are we all in understanding of this?
Yes.
Sir.
Good. Karut, I trust you will keep an open ear to any of their suggestions. Their powers and experience are arguably beyond even yours, and as such, will provide sage counsel for you. Karut sort of straightens up a bit and nods.
Quick question.
Yes.
What was the expression on Karut's face right there?
He just sort of nods. It wasn't like a slight or anything.
I'm just like, it's more of a general overarching question of like, on a scale of 1 to 10,
Make an insight check.
how badly does Karut want us dead? 24.
24 is the answer on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, 24. Karut, I mean, from that expression, it's hard to, like, you know, get the entirety of Karut's emotional demeanor. But Karut multiple times has made on no certain terms that the longevity of Kindra is not something that he is, you know, embraced with personally protecting.
Okay.
You do get the sense that there is a sense of duty and reverence towards the Emperor himself, and that Karut will probably obey orders beyond going out and acting sort of off the chart, if you will.
Okay. But I mean, like, so he doesn't care whether Kindra lives or dies. But, like, I guess what I'm trying to get a feel for, and what I've been trying to get a feel for since, like, real time, the end of the Eridor arc, is, like, to what extent does Karut hold all of us responsible for Tifrael's death?
You don't really know.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I would say it's just Kindra he's pissed at.
You did part on reasonably amiable terms with him sort of towards the end. I mean, obviously it was a traumatic experience for all of those involved. But, like, it wasn't just like he just stormed off without talking to any of you.
Okay. I'm just saying, just because, like, there were big chunks of that, right, that never got, like, actually played out in any sort of RP.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Tebrin would have actively tried to maintain, like, that friendship. Or as much of that as he could. Just, like, I am speaking this into the air as RP truth. We can continue.
All right. So, you will enter, find the staff, remove it from whatever case or protections it is. I am under the understanding that this area will likely be extremely dangerous, fraught with all manner of protection from anyone entering and doing exactly what you're trying to do. So I urge you all to be careful. I think that goes without saying. And though I see some fear and doubt in all of your eyes, I can assure you that the Empire will treat this matter with utmost deference, with the prosperity and safety of the people first and foremost in my mind.
I just would like to my own insight on this. Sorry, is he speaking of his own volition and free will?
Roll an insight check.
Yes, I know.
Unless
that's
you want to try to do that.
No, I don't want to RP it because I don't want to get in trouble because I'm not good at stuff. But I just want a sense of.
You have no idea.
No idea. Okay, cool.
Wait, that was perception.
Yeah.
Oh, insight. Sorry.
You can. There's no real he seems to be speaking as a normal person. It's hard to know if somebody's being coerced or something.
There's no like shadow of evil right behind his
there's
head.
no there's no halo of worms or anything.
But
On his
if
little
I can,
imp right here.
Yeah.
okay. Is he? I guess maybe. Can I rephrase it? And it's okay if you don't want to give this to me. Is he being genuine?
From everything you've watched, and this is the first time you've sort of, he is very calculated, more so than you probably would have anticipated, but does seem that he means the things that he says. And there is certainly that layer of sort of a commanding presence and authoritative manner to it, but none of it seems like political double talk or any of that. He speaks pretty plainly when it comes to all of those sort of things.
Okay.
Which is consistent with what you know from sort of growing up and all of that, in that the emperor, this current emperor, is somewhat of a straight shooter in terms of politics and all of that, and it's one of the reasons that people like him, is he says what he wants to do and then he follows through and does it, and those goals are largely things that have made the Drakoran Empire safer and enhanced the infrastructure of its cities and all of that sort of thing. So he has been by far the least war-driven, conflict-driven, sort of imperially minded emperor that the Empire has had.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
You mentioned that you have questions. You may ask them now, and I do invite my general and crew to also to weigh in on these matters strategically.
Okay. Do you have knowledge of Aximon? Have they briefed you on that matter?
I have all the information that is available to the Empire on Aximon, yes.
So we have a plan for keeping him out?
Well, he already dwells beneath the city, so he is already in, so to speak. And from what we have been led to believe, whatever his tendrils of influence are already seeping up to our streets and minds of our people.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that the staff is likely more dangerous than he is at the moment, as he has sat there for thousands of years, likely, in wait.
For this moment.
That is a possibility.
I can 100% guarantee you that he's been waiting for this moment.
Akira, rather than asking what their plan is for Aximon, why don't we, as a combined entity, come up with a plan for Aximon?
Because I don't feel the sense that we have that option, Kendra.
No, I believe we have been invited to all work together.
Yeah.
But I believe that is one topic that we should discuss here, is that we should figure out how we are going to deal with the worm man. That is one of them. I also, if I may, do have another question, sir. What exactly is going to happen to the staff afterwards?
Once the staff is freed from the temple itself, and we can guarantee its safety, it will be moved as far from Agthumon and the city as possible, likely to a secure location in the Bremeraldi archives. Its use from there will be governed by the same jurisdiction of any of the powerful items that Bremeraldi keeps safe. If it is needed to aid in foreign affairs, then perhaps that can be discussed. My primary concern is that the staff itself be found and removed from the proximity of this Agthumon entity, such that it does not fall into his hands.
Yes, I believe that is all of our goals. But again, I mean, it is a great honor to work alongside you, sir, but you must understand, of course, that I am not. There is not even a twitch and change of expression. He just keeps talking. You can understand why, as somebody who does not who's not a sworn citizen of your empire, why I might be curious about what exactly it is that does govern the use of such items.
That is a very simple answer. That is me.
All right.
So perhaps when we all come out of this just fine, we could talk about what's happening over in Eridor and its potential danger of spilling over into the Empire. We do not need to talk about this right now, but I would like to make this a potential future possible use of the sword, even led under Karut, who is familiar with this situation. And I look to Karut very pleadingly.
Yes, that is, I believe, obviously our primary goal at the moment is to make sure that we remove this staff from, away from wormy fingers, as it were. But beneath that, our larger goal is to remove Torin from his perch, which I think would benefit you as much as it would appease our own consciences.
We are aware of the ongoing unfortunate events of Eridor. I would caution you all that a hammer is not the correct tool to solve all problems. And if you have an incredibly powerful instrument, sometimes it's best that that not be what you use.
Well, then, like I said, this is not the matter at hand. Perhaps we can table it for a later conversation.
Yes. I can't impress upon all of you enough. Whatever your strategies moving forward for this, priority is getting this staff to a location that is secure and safe.
Just so. So, and I glance back towards Groot. Do we have the skeleton of a plan, or are we starting from the ground up?
Well, there's not much known about the temples themselves, other than they're the last bastion of the Ryukul situation. There's likely no living survivors that have no means to sustain themselves within the temple itself.
May I offer some information there? Is this Karut talking?
Yes.
Okay. I have reason to believe that my parents are in the temple and also under the thrall of Agthumon.
Well, it is interesting. I'm sorry to hear that. If they are fully under the influence of Agthumon, unfortunately, I would consider them a danger to the mission at hand.
So let's just hash out my whole, not maybe briefly. So they left me at my order when I was a baby, so I really don't know them. Not happy about it. And I ask one thing, that I be allowed to attempt to remove them from their thrall, but if I am not successful, then I forgive you all for killing them. So that's, I just ask for one small chance, if I may.
As long as I feel that you're not placing yourself in danger to do so, I am happy to allow the chance.
I know it's not a like if this then this, kind of situation. I know it's.
We will do everything we can for them, Roswell.
Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there, but I and they also might know that we're coming because I didn't realize until the other night that they were under the thrall of Agthumon. But I haven't let them know plans, hey, we're coming today, just like it was a few weeks ago, and I was hey, we want to come in there and get this, and he's oh no, don't. But I don't he might have been trying to save me. Not, but I don't know. I mean, Actimon sees everything, so really, it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah. He can see through all of your eyes.
Extrapolating from that and moving on from it, it is worth noting then, like, I don't think we should discount the fact that we may very well be meeting the Drakoran in one form or another. I don't think. Or I find it, if Roswell's parents are still alive, not having any way to grow food or sustain themselves, I don't know what form we're going to be meeting them in, but if they're there, probably the Drakoran are as well. Just food for thought.
We also do know the Drakoran were much, as you know, much involved in the primordial elemental forces, so it's likely that temple will be structured somehow based on our research of other monuments and prolific structures that they have built in their history in quadrants, each corresponding to the elements, as I'm sure you can guess. The areas would be fraught with difficulty, likely traps, potentially even areas of deception. The Drakoran were known to be quite creative and inventive in their combat techniques, and that likely translates into their defensive measures as well.
I think it's just really dark down there. I tried to look in there one time, but all I could see was darkness.
I'm not sure if you're being literal or metaphorical, but
Literal? Like, you know.
we will bring torches.
Okay. Just so you know. It's dark.
I've worked with the general, and the area outside will be under heavy guard. There will be additional members of the Bremeraldi school here who will do their best to scry and anticipate any threats that may come. We also have received some information from our spies and various information networks throughout that there are other political forces that are aware of the attempt to open the temple, as this has not been an entirely clandestine operation. So there may be other parties interested in this staff.
And do the other parties have a name?
We are monitoring the Drow colony. It's about 200 miles through the Underdark from here. We also have reason to believe that there are potentially fiendish influences that also have...
I want not to look at Kindred.
have taken a bit of an interest to this. However, how that interest will manifest is not yet clear.
There also might be entities from the Shadowfell that are also very interested in any kind of rifts or breaking anything open.
Oh yes, I guess we did have that whole dragon thing.
My hypothesis is that I assume you speak of your encounters with the Whisperer in the Glittering Barrens. My hypothesis is likely that the Whisperer is in some way a disciple of Agthumon himself.
Oh, that tracks.
The dragons probably aren't, though.
Based on what I am guessing from my research into the concept of shadow and the prevalence of annihilation underscoring all of creation that the Drakoran held, the Drakoran may have believed that Agthumon whether falsely or not, is that force of annihilation. What that's meant to their actions is unclear, but I believe his motives are simply to destroy all of existence.
Oh, that's
We
not
did
too
talk
bad.
to him one time.
Yes, I think it was too, because on the one of those, we did some research, and the Ryukul were tricked.
Yeah.
Well, that indeed is consistent with my hypothesis.
Also, he gave us the 5th sword, so...
I think we should be under no presumption that Agthumon himself wants the sword to, or the staff itself to be found and extricated.
Oh, but he does. Why would he give us the key to it if he didn't want it to be?
No, Akira, he's saying that is what he wants.
Oh, I thought you said the opposite of that. I thought you said he didn't want to find. I'm sorry. I was like, hold on a second. Why did he give us the key if that's not what he wanted? Okay.
I wish I had more information for all of us. I will say that communication and passage into and out of the temple is likely to be spotty at best, if possible at all.
We know it's possible.
And we haven't been in it, right?
Our,
We know that you can sending from outside of it.
all of our attempts to scry or communicate have been met with absolute silence and a void of information.
I talked to my
Barking.
parents inside.
I can only believe that
It's a firewall situation. They opened one port.
I can only believe that that was something that was allowed to happen through the various wards for whatever reason. Or perhaps your parents managed to find some way to counteract the measures from the inside.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I'm just letting you know what happened.
I
Well, I
appreciate
could
the
hear
information.
stuff in there. So, I mean, I could hear a man's voice in there whenever I look through.
Well, you obviously had more success than we did.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why
We'll
it
see.
is good that you are all coming along.
Well,
Just
we
saying,
will
there is
either
still
we'll be able to
divination.
talk to you or we won't. I mean, it's not.
Where the magic wards are strong, what are our conventional methods of communication? Will there be some sort of, and I tap my horn, signal
Just
from
shout
those
real
who are
loud.
out here if something were to go awry in the middle of this extrication?
From what I can tell, the temple itself will seal behind us once we have entered. There will be no way in or out unless we are successful.
I have a feeling that the the sign is going to be that either we come back out, or shit gets real outside. Unfortunately, not to make light of something horrible, but I think that things like this, either we have to do it, somebody has to go inside, and either we come back out and we're successful, or people outside are going to have to problem solve it because we'll be dead.
No, what I'm saying is, if they come under assault from one of these various factions, then we will remain blissfully unaware inside.
It's likely that it's better for us to not be distracted with things that are beyond our control. I think we'll have our hands full with whatever's going on inside.
Speaking of, it is the local drow that are interested, yes?
I am unaware, but there have been a substantial amount of movement in and around their territory. They have not broken past any of our negotiated borders. However, their military activity has doubled several times over in the past couple of weeks.
It makes sense.
Where's the last sword?
Oh, yeah.
It's stuck in the door. It's stuck in the door.
We don't know it's still there. We haven't seen it.
We managed to remove the sword from the door
Oh.
itself.
You just gotta jiggle it.
Yeah. There are incantations for that. So we have in our possession 2 of the swords. We didn't want to leave all of that information on the table as bargaining chips. But it turns, as far as entering the temple itself, we are equal partners in the amount that we can contribute.
Lastly, when did you want to start this endeavor? Now, in the morning, the flies aren't here yet. What?
The supplies should have arrived quickly. We dispatched for them as soon as we learned of your needs, but it is at our discretion, though haste has been urged. So, if you require a night's rest, we can attempt to do so in the morning. If not,
I think it would be in everyone's best interest if the clerics amongst us prepare in a manner for this next task. I'd say the same for myself, but my spells are rather inconsequential comparatively.
Yes, I had been doing so on my travels.
I have not.
Okay.
I was asking a lot of questions, which I have one more. And it's just a question of curiosity, and I don't mean it disrespectfully. I'm just really curious. But
I'm gonna slowly back away.
That's the Kumar family crest. Just really curious.
I want to lean really far in the other direction.
Yeah, Tamara is just like...
We all take one step back.
I really am just a really curious person, and I'm wondering why it is that you built this recreation of the Miracle, like why this big show of the, like, have you seen the real parts underneath, you know, the real listening pools? I'm just curious, why did you build this for your people to see? Why is it on display for everyone?
people need hope. People need things that they can believe in that leverage them to do great deeds. Do you think that people knowing that there's a unspeakable evil terror that controls and influences their every waking thought living beneath the city?
Tebrin is now visibly biting his tongue, but holds his peace.
I mean, wait, did you know about it before and just been sitting on it? And so you built this for hope, but like, it's kind of just opening them up more to it, I feel.
We have been exploring beneath the city for longer than I have been emperor.
Uh-huh. I mean, it's just curious that you would go through all these links. We were on our first night here. There's like a bunch of, shaking and tremors and stuff, and you're ruining your already existing structures and stuff to build this place down here and explore all these. I don't know. It just seems a little like, why?
There is a lot to be learned from the past.
Right, but you didn't build it to, like, I wouldn't say to scale, but like some of the monuments and stuff were a little disrespectful, in my opinion, to the past.
Okay, I believe we have gotten a little bit off track.
I mean, just, I'm just curious, why didn't you actually build the correct monuments?
As I said, people are inspired by hope.
Just so. Well then,
okay.
So we will be adjourning for the night then and beginning first thing in the morning.
Out of character, I can't help but wonder exactly what note Holly is writing. But yes, go on.
It's just,
Son of a...
This piece of shit, I'll kill myself.
That's a whole can of... Okay.
So if
What was
given
that? The whole can of worms, was that the term you were
Yeah. I'm just gonna glance back at Karut slightly pleadingly.
Yeah.
If we're allowed to take our leave, we'll set up a camp and be ready first thing.
The Emperor sort of stands up from his seat. Everyone else sort of does the same.
Yeah.
Follow suit?
In suit. I have arranged accommodations for this potential eventuality. You will be well fed. If there's anything else you need, please don't hesitate to let my people know here. And the building across the way has enough accommodations for all of you.
The Underdark Hilton.
We greatly appreciate it, and I will give him another bow.
I wish you all the best of luck, and I look forward to hearing about the success of your tales with your speedy arrival back.
Thank you.
Bow if that's appropriate.
He sort of nods, and as he does, the doors behind you then again opened. He sits back in his seat, takes a goblet of, presumes wine, takes a sip, puts it down. Some advisor comes over, he's just sort of talking to them, and continues to go on about whatever his business is.
We Muppet walk out.
All right, and as described, there is, for lack of a better term, sort of makeshift inn/hostel there. The sleeping accommodations are not super lavish, but there is a large room, sort of like a lobby area to the building, which has a long table on it, which is just covered with a smorgasbord of different foods, meats, fruits, just about anything you could hope for. So,
alcohol?
plenty to eat. There is wine there, yes.
Okay. Roswell has some mighty cups of wine.
Tebron also offers his, like, flask that has the unknowable but extremely strong alcohol in it as well.
All right. As you sort of make yourself at home, settling in, a guard appears and points to appears through the door and points out, there's several crates of equipment that you requested. It's been left outside. If there's anything else, please let my men know, and we will hopefully provide it. Sooner the better, though, as it does take a little bit to get things down here.
Okay.
Cheers. New toys.
Yes. One of us is going to be wearing royal adorned emblematic armor.
Yes. So there are 2 sets of half plates in Drakoran military colors.
That was corrected to 1, Casey, but we might still have to.
No, they put 2 there.
Yeah, no, because we told them to.
You told them to.
Yeah,
there's
that's fine.
also a shield there, and then there is a case that's maybe about this big that you pry back the cover on it, and there are 6 greater healing potions inside.
Delicious.
Does somebody want to take an extra one?
Do we know
Well,
if
if I
Karut and
must.
Karut and Effie, have they been equipped? Like, kitted
You
out?
assume they are fairly well taken care of. They are not with you at the moment.
No, Marius, can I suggest that you take 2?
I will take 2. I was about to suggest the same thing. I'm like, I had 0, by the way. So I'm like, yeah, give me these. And also, Tebrit,
Alright.
assuming we have some
Yes.
privacy, a word.
He's in the middle of like picking stuff out, just like sorting through it. And he's like, yes.
Well, when we have the appropriate.
yes. He is easy enough to pull away.
So,
Potion.
concerns that maybe shouldn't have been brought up in front of the Emperor have been dancing around in my head. And you have always had a keen eye for such things. So my big concern is your sister's play in all this. how's she gonna act? You have more insight in her way, or her ways, or whatever, than I do. So, if you were in her shoes or have any kind of knowledge to, she's orchestrated this as much as any other manipulator has. So, what's the next step for her?
As much as I would like to say that I can predict what my sister would do, I believe that the past few weeks have proved that I don't know her nearly as well as I thought I did. However, Drayler was always...
Wait, what?
She was... I'm not sure how much she ever told you about her time in the military itself, but she was specifically concerned with training new recruits and leading them in the field. And she was very well known for the fact that while she was more protective than your average commander would be, if necessary, she could be absolutely ruthless. So while I am sure that whatever she has planned out was done with our best interests at heart, at the end of the day, if Torin is her end goal, then she will make sure that Torin ends up dead.
My question is more specifically in mechanical action. For example, would she put a spy amongst us? Would she take the staff after it is procured? What is the likely... I only ask because she's of your blood, so maybe you know something, but...
Well, I mean, he just kind of gestures around. I mean, unless you're insinuating that I am her spy.
No, I'm insinuating that Effie or Karut.
Well, I think we both know Karut well enough by now to know that that is unlikely. Effie, I suppose, is a possibility, but truly, I don't believe that... I don't think that we have to worry about her working against us. I believe that she has tried to put things in a way so that she will be using us in much the same way as everybody else recently has been doing. But I believe her end goal is us with the staff. And if it seems that we will be able to procure the staff ourselves, then... And if not, then I don't know. I mean, it seems more likely she would work through the Shadow's Oath. That was what she created.
That's my point. Shadow's Oath would have an agent nearby. So, if you say that her goal is to put the staff in our hands, she can't allow us to give it to the Empire, who will whisk it away to some vault never to be seen again. So, conflict. And you said ruthless, which means some of us may have to fall in that conflict for the outcome to be as she desires. I am just trying to prepare.
I know. Have I noticed anything that suggested to me that there was any active Shadow's Oath while we've been traveling?
No, but you also know enough about the Shadow's Oath
to know that it's their job to be the Shadow.
The Shadow's Oath is really easy to discover, but...
I mean, all I can tell you is that hasn't been anybody that I recognized, but the Shadow's Oath wasn't really circles that I traveled in that much.
Secondly, my only other concern is much along the same lines, but not Orisha-based. If another organization, as the Emperor alluded to, had an interest in this, should we not expect a betrayal at one point to that end? So, you have the keenest eye. Keep an eye on the two that we travel with that we don't know, to the point where they may betray us, especially one given a viable excuse to betray us based on history.
Yes, we probably do want to keep an eye on.
Again,
keep a warm body or two between Kendra and Karut is probably good. Best
trying
practice.
To be prepared.
Yes,
I want to see everybody through safe and sound.
Yes, I have every intention of keeping an eye on the people around us. But yes, I do share your concerns.
Well, we don't see eye to eye on much, but for this,
On this, I believe we do.
We do. Good. Oh, that's all I really had. And
Cheers. And he offers Nemarius the flask full of unknowable alcohol.
please. Commoner.
Your loss.
You're literally sitting at a table with probably the finest wine in all of Chora right now.
Yeah, I'm all
Yes,
like,
but is it as
"Where's
strong
the
as
sherry?"
this shitty?
Yeah.
right, correct. It's not Everclear.
So I would want to talk with Roswell about what spells she's preparing.
Can we do that via chat? So
Sure.
we don't take up
Of
time. Okay.
course.
All right. I don't mean to be so like, "Ugh,"
Nope.
but okay.
It's cool. It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Before.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry, I was just thinking about doing a divination, but I'm not sure what to divine. So, we'll get back to me if anybody's got something else to do.
I wanted to do an augury.
Okay,
Actually, I can't do that yet. Never mind. Take it back.
fair enough.
Before
You could do a divination though.
I could if I had it.
Before people sleep, if there are any kinds of useful spells we think we want to put inside the ring of spell storing,
What's the
let me
limit
know.
there?
5 levels worth of spells.
What if I throw a cantrip? Is that free?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Counts as one.
You can have how many?
5 levels worth of spells.
5 levels worth of spells.
So I can have 5 first level spells, or 1 fifth level spell, or anything in between.
I mean, do we want to stick some healing in there? I can put some healing words in.
Um,
that's
I
a
mean, we
really
can
good
do-
idea.
also,
What's the level of mass healing word?
I have no idea.
that is hang on, I'm in the middle of.
'Cause that would be real handy in a ring in Kendra's hands. Especially when she's
What
like,
did you ask
nope.
for?
That healing word is
And as just a extra bit of
fourth, I
information,
think.
I can twin things that are in the ring as well. I don't know how much that matters, but
I believe it's fourth.
The twin requires single target, correct?
correct.
Yes.
So you could twin healing word, but not mass healing word.
Yeah, but I don't think I would ever twin healing word, to be honest with you.
It's useful if you want to bring people up at a distance.
Hmm?
And it's only a bonus action.
Yes, but the difference is one mass healing word will do
Yes.
much more effect
hmm
than a twin.
I mean, I think healing word is the only thing that I have that would be useful.
Attic-
Protection from healing and good might also be.
From
Evil and good?
Yeah. Sorry.
Protection from healing sounds it's terrible.
That's
eh?
bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
I have Bane.
What's that spell that absorbs energy types as a reaction?
Absorb energy.
Absorb energy.
Is it literally?
Yeah. No, I don't have that one.
'Cause that would be real handy in an elementally themed trapped base environment. That might be super handy.
Yeah, that's only for like me though. I don't think I can do it for other people.
Yeah, it's,
Well,
it's,
even
a,
so,
it's a
we
reaction
should just
upon
have you check all the traps
with your hit points.
and your armor class.
And when I'm kitted, I've got my thieves tools and everything, right?
I think either mass healing word or I just put in other stuff.
Up to you. Your ring.
I've got a mass cure wounds.
Mass healing word.
It's too
Better.
far, and Kendra doesn't get close. Oh wait a minute.
It's 60 feet.
Yeah, I just realized that as I was coming out of my mouth.
Bonus action spells are nicer,
Mm.
but we can do mass cure wounds as well. I don't know what the difference in healing is. So
The healing on that is 3d8.
What is it for mass healing word?
Mass healing word
And actually,
is
1d4.
yeah, 1d4.
Okay, I mean we could do mass cure wounds.
What is the actual text on mass cure wounds?
Let's use roll 20.
Don't just describe it without linking it. Even though it's a fantastic feature that roll 20 that all the
It's a
classes could
sphere.
use.
Is that all the text? It's
Up to six,
That's a
up to
sphere.
6 creatures in a 30-foot
Oh, God damn
radius
it.
sphere.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
that's
that
it.
would be the entire thing. It's a 5th level.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just do that then.
Question on the spell ring, though. Do you become the caster?
Yes.
Okay. I like how it's not wisdom based, but rather spellcasting ability based. So that would be actually pretty fantastic.
Keep in mind, if you cast a bonus action spell from it, you cannot cast another spell as a
Yeah,
action.
I can only cast a
Cantrip.
cantrip.
So are we doing mass cure wounds in there?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright.
I'll give it to you.
Is there any other mechanical type preparations that need to be done?
Are there any other magic items we're forgetting?
We can make no more requests, so unless we have something that we are
No, I mean
I think
we
we
have
should-
that we're
No,
forgetting.
legitimately, is there anything we're forgetting?
In party loot. So take a look at party loot.
Oh, I have a vial of basic poison. That's nice. I also have 5 candles.
That's also nice.
A Holocaust cloak? Why didn't you list that amongst our assets?
one of my favorite lines.
I mean, I have the amulet of detect thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's part of it.
There's a detect magic scroll in there, a lesser restoration.
Hey, we got a monkey's hand?
Do we?
Well, a desiccated hand with a question mark.
What about you? Don't have to do anything special for your ring, do you, Raza?
A monkey's paw.
No, it just happens. I just get to move. Slowly. I still move slowly, but I move. Terrain's got nothing on me.
I'll take the scroll of detect magic with the word paladin in it.
Okay.
That way
Alright.
we can go in detecting.
I throw down a fuzzy ball and summon a boar. Alright. We're ready to
We
go?
haven't slept yet.
Doesn't matter.
What are
You're
you
gonna do it
doing?
again in the morning.
Yeah.
There's a false life in there. I don't. There might be.
I mean, we're carrying all that with us
Yeah.
anyway. Just be aware of what it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
His name is Bartholomew.
Boar.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a horse named
I think
Bartholomew.
we're ready, right?
Are you
I mean, I
ready to
guess. Like, I don't
long
know.
rest?
Yeah.
Is there anything
Long
else we need
rest.
to do?
Nope,
Do
that's
you?
it.
You don't want me
Alright.
to scry or anything before we do do any of this?
Nope. They're
Check up
guarding it.
on Ciora, maybe, or anything.
I don't
yeah,
think it's
actually, I mean,
if you
in
want to.
character, yeah, he would.
out of character. Do we need to? Are we going back up there regardless?
Well, I mean, no, it does not. It does not serve a mechanical in-game purpose.
In between characters. Meh. Right.
But no, we don't have to do it.
Up to you guys.
What about it? How do you plan on trying to, or do you have a plan for how to get your parents out of Aximon's control? Do you know?
I have dispel good and evil. If we have a greater restoration, I don't know. I don't know what we're walking into with them. So
Remove curse.
I do have a small plan, but
Do you
I don't
dispel
wanna
of
put-
magic as well?
I do. I don't want to put all of my eggs in that basket.
I have dispel magic as well.
To be kind of cold about it.
Yes, we all hear you. Go away.
Okay, I was just curious if there's
Go away for about 1 hour.
any way that we knew of that could help with that.
Okay.
Oh, welcome back.
Cat hour.
Cats going one way, turning around.
Anything else? Going once? Going twice? Long
Good
rest.
morning, everybody.
All right. You all lay down, toss and turn, but eventually find sleep. And as you all drift off to sleep, I need every single one of you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
Except for me.
10.
Okay. I have an inspiration marked on my sheet. I'm gonna use that. And roll this with advantage.
I have an inspiration. No, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to see what it says.
15.
I assume this is against magic, so I get my gnome advantage.
It is magic, yes.
Yay.
How does this work mechanically? Is this before the long rest goes off, or does this count?
This is
I guess.
Well,
while you are sleeping.
17.
All right, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to use anything. Just let it go.
All right.
I have an 11.
Noted.
I do have on the amulet of scrying, if that has any kind of, or non-scrying, if that has any kind of
non-detection.
Non-detection.
We'll say, what amulet is that?
Okay. You all awaken.
Go on.
Wait a minute. Was that in question? Wait. What? Well, good morning.
There is
I gotta find out, please.
a meal sort of brought in morning. Karut and Affy are in that sort of large room eating. They both look like they're carrying somewhat larger packs than you've previously seen them, as if they too have prepared a bit.
Bustin' makes me feel good too.
Don't cross the streets, Affy. Total protonic reversion. All right.
Reversal.
So are we ready?
I suppose.
Let's do it, Team Squad.
How are you feeling, Affy?
Well, I don't know what to expect, but whatever it is, it'll be historic.
Mm-hmm. Roswell takes like 3 really nervous bathroom breaks before we go in. I'm not. Oh, okay.
Well, let's get this over
wait
with.
another day if you have the runs. That's.
No, I just have a nervous bladder. I'm really sorry. No, I'm not sorry. It's my body. Why am I asking you for forgiveness about my body?
Karut sort of stands up and gathers his pack, holds the door for Affy. Well, shall we?
Suppose we shall.
So, there's a opening made through the sort of fenced-in barricade towards the temple itself. As you make your way over a familiar area, for some of you, others, haven't been quite this up close prior. And as you go, you walk under there's a large arch in the walkway that goes up that's sort of partially crumbled and toppled over, and you kind of make your way around that towards the large sort of front facade of the temple itself that has another arch written in just sort of runes all over covering across it, and then you see in the floor, that array of the 4 keyholes. Karut sort of unsheathes the sword, which you can only guess from its glowing sort of reddish yellow appearance to be the fire sword, and he hands it to Affy, and then also unsheathes a different sword and takes a vial from around his neck. He kind of pulls it off, and then opens it and pours it over, as you see this sort of shimmer, and almost like a wave just sort of goes up, crashes over, and the sword itself begins to drip with water. And he takes that, and they both kind of walk forward to stand next to 2 of the keyholes.
Wind, and I also do this.
I go earth, and I also do this.
I don't think there's any verbal components needed in this ritual.
Listen, we have to find a little bit of fun in this, don't we?
Say it, Karut. Heart.
On the count of 3, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, and he just sort of punches it down. And as you get past the first foot or so of the blade, you feel this like force that just kind of almost like grabs and pulls it down. They all kind of like sort of pull loose from your hand a little bit, and you kind of jerked down towards them as the cross guards of the swords all hit the ground, and there's a little bit of a clanging that echoes through as the etched out areas around where the swords insert, they have sort of spiraling designs, all sort of begin to glow, as it seems like the energy from the swords themselves seeps up into it, and then they all glow their individual colors associated with the elements. And of these carved lines, you start to see, even under places where the dust and dirt of the cavern has covered, you see that this glowing kind of pierces through, and the dust kind of parts as they all sort of snake and weave back and forth, headed towards the door itself, and merging together at a single point right in front of where this giant arch is, and then they expand out, all of their energy kind of blurring together into this one white that then illuminates the arch, and the door itself turns the same blinding white color, just growing brighter and brighter and brighter with intensity until you have to shield your eyes from it. The whole cavern filled with light, and then the light goes out, and you see an entrance with only darkness behind it. But where there was once a door, now is a passageway.
That was
I
good
shall
music.
take the vanguard, draw my shield.
Just remember there's traps. Or there might be traps.
I shall let one person go in front of me.
I am willing to scout.
Before we enter in, is there any like signs of anyone watching, or any maybe feeling of anyone watching?
How would you like to determine that?
Good question. By turning around and looking.
So there are a great deal of people watching you from sort of back by the streets. All of the guards have seemingly turned their attention here.
Not how you guard.
Okay, just I mean, I didn't know, because there's other like people trying to get into this temple. I was just curious, you know.
Make a perception roll.
17.
So as you take a moment to survey the area, looking around, all is quiet, all is calm. Seems like no other movement. You are fairly far removed from where the other groups of people are, but you guys are standing maybe only 8 to 10 feet from the doorway itself.
All right.
And as you stand there for now 30 seconds or so, no one really wanting to take the first step in.
No,
You
I
just-
do want to go.
No, yeah, Tebron's just gonna take a breath and kind of like glance up for a
Alright.
second, and then
Yeah,
we'll begin leading in.
as you cross the thresholds into total darkness, the air is cold. It's a bit stale, but there is like this flow of basically just air breezing out, wafting out from the temple itself, and you can see a slight sort of lingering cloud back beneath it that sort of spills out a bit, that comes up maybe to your ankles or so.
Great. Oh, this is gonna be very bad. All right. I will proceed carefully, cautiously, with copious perception and investigation checks, looking for traps.
And I will light a torch.
I will
to
cast
carry with me.
guidance on Tebron.
I will accept this. And
Alright. Is anyone not entering in past the threshold?
I'm going in.
All right. So you all head in, and those of you with dark vision, it's more of a struggle to see than you're used to in dark, but you can, your eyes begin to adjust a little bit, and it's like the equivalent of, or the reverse equivalent, I guess, of if you go somewhere, from going somewhere that's really dark to really bright, you have a really hard time seeing, and it's just like an overwhelming sense, almost painful in a way. It's like that, but with darkness, not light. The darkness is just so pervasive, but you can eventually, as your eyes acclimate to it, go.
I don't get it.
yeah, I hate this. Okay. I am gonna light a torch as well.
I can see perfectly.
You two have this feeling as well, Kendra.
So it's beyond magical darkness. We're in advanced magical darkness now.
So, yeah. We may discover more. Who knows?
Okay, I'm looking for traps. I'm going to lead the ahead of the party by maybe like 10 feet or so.
All right, make an investigation roll.
Plus 1d4. Okay. I think I still have advantage on.
So,
On
while
my
that's
advantage on.
occurring, I was just wondering if this is a similar feeling for when we crossed over into the Feywild. Except for not the Feywild this time, something more shadowy.
You don't get the impression of this being any sort of portal, although that kind of stuff is not always easy.
Ooh, not an auspicious start.
Inauspicious.
Horrible. 10.
So you can still see out kind of back, see sort of where you came from. So if you are moving into a different plane or something, it's not apparent from just casual observation. All right, Tebron, looking around, it just appears to be a long corridor, dark at the end, but it looks like it splits off kind of in a T, maybe about 40 or so feet farther in front of you. The corridor is about 10 feet wide.
Did you say Effie was human?
Yes.
So has she lit a torch? Or
Nope.
does she have a means to see?
She's not lit a torch, but other people have torches lit.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I missed that. Okay.
So, Tebron, you don't see anything that looks like traps. The stone carving here is covered in many layers of sort of dust over everything, but there's nothing's disturbed it. Nothing looks anywhere like that.
Okay.
And just did the sword stay in place?
The swords are all still in the keyholes.
It's actually a good.
What
We
are you
can't
saying?
hear you. Did you mute yourself?
That's a good point. I'm going to have
There
to
you
make
go.
sure that my macro is not the key sword anymore, but rather my other weapon.
So from where you can see, hallway is clear.
Okay, I will keep going. Confident in my investigative abilities.
All right. As you step from this small entryway into the first sort of beginning of the hallway forwards, the ground beneath you you feel a very slight
Go on.
little bit of movement, and then the sort of 10-foot wide stone carved area there just glows with a sheen over it, and you all just hear this whoosh, whooshing sound from behind you, and the door shuts.
That tracks.
Everything's fine. Investigating it, like, is there...
And then the light sort of fades after it sort of shimmers over that.
Investigating it, can I glean anything about its actual nature? Whatever it was that I just stepped on.
So looking down, based on your observations, you discern that its function is to close the door.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going.
Magically.
I'm gonna keep going and continue looking for traps.
All right. Making your way forwards, again, floor pretty much indiscernible from one thing or another, and as you cautiously make your way down, others begin to follow along in suit.
No, I'm not proficient in it. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to try to keep as close to Tebrin as I can. So if the danger is not a trap, but rather a charging whatever, Tebrin can get behind me quickly. Yeah. And I'd expect anything in here is already well aware that we're here, so the sneaky is not necessary.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to.
All right.
I don't think I'm going to be stealthing tonight.
As you continue up, you eventually get to that T intersection, and looking out, you see that in both directions there is a short section about 10 feet long of hallway, and then it looks like two spiral staircases that sort of are symmetrical to each other that spiral going down from there, and you kind of can't see past as they're kind of a tight spiral going down.
All right. Well, got any strong feelings here? Does it look like is there any sign of passage on one side or the other?
With a
like that people have been through?
No, there's none of this seems disturbed at all that you can see.
All right, and there isn't any symbolism or anything like that?
They are all but identical.
I mean, am I going to flip a coin or what?
No, go the right way.
Can I?
Shepard acts for a second, like he's going to go to the left, and then.
Can I flip a coin? I'm really good when it comes to sheer randomness.
Yes, Kendra, if you would like to flip a coin.
Yes, but
Nice.
move on before the
Heads
result.
left, tails right. We're going right.
Okay. I go right. I'm looking for traps.
All right. You begin to head down the stairs, and though they do curve out of view, you look and heads down probably only about 15 feet. There's probably only a dozen or so stairs there, and both stairs sort of exit to the same point. On the
I felt like that was the answer.
Yeah.
Well, it was a much larger open area that curves out in both directions, and you look out and you see this sort of pale bluish white glow kind of just lingers from the ceilings itself. The ceilings are 40 or so feet tall here, very arched and vaulted. Huge columns protrude up, and it just seems like there's this long passage that goes out and around. And looking towards the center, you see that this is a room that's probably a couple 100 feet in diameter, a circular room. There's a recessed area in the center, above which is a dome that has that sort of bluish white glow that wafts down. And from it, you just see the smoke that's kind of, or the dust or whatever that's pouring down, is seeming like it's coming from that. It's just like a very slow, almost like waterfall from it. And as it hits, it just sort of pools up a little bit and then wafts out. And as it begins to waft out, the glow from it subsides. And looking closer, you see that all of these columns are very finely carved with this elven filigree to them. But Roswell, you do notice that the structural elements of how all of this is set up, you do recognize from when you sort of did research in sort of Dwarven culture and all of that, that there's a lot of kind of dwarvish architecture in this.
This feels a lot like the stuff we found with the Riracool and the dwarves working together. It's funny, we've spent a lot of time talking about the Riracool, but not what happened to the dwarves.
I mean, the dwarves just kind of made their own place, didn't they?
Yeah. But how did they get out? Right?
I suppose that's an interesting question. I haven't the faintest idea. Where is that poem?
I
can't find it in my notes.
I can say it to you.
Please do. I'm mostly just interested in what the first verse is.
All right. Wield driving force of earth and hammer, melt the world under forging flame. And Roswell is legitimately saying this all out loud. Stoke the tempest to rip and slash, creation quenched to smooth permanence, all from shadow risen, then all again to shadow submerged.
Okay.
In the Elvish, you said it was like filigree, or was it language?
It's not writing, it's designs.
Design, okay. Is it just like a motif, or is it something that is telling a story?
Make a history check. Looking around, from what you can see, there is a loose motif to it that doesn't resemble anything elemental in nature, except at first glance it almost seems like it's water, but there's no... It's not waves like you would see. It's sort of ebbs, and there's lots of areas that are just sort of... There'll be a curved cutout design, and it like flows, and it looks like the design flows up in there, and then it sort of like terminates in that one area, and then like there's some sort of thing holding where this design is going, and that happens sort of again and again. So everything, all of these like swirling lines that go through each other, all of their terminations, and some of them all end up into one larger sort of design, but all of them seem to end in that same motif.
And you said that the light at the top had gone out?
The light seems to be stemming from the dome in the center of this area that's like kind of recessed down, and the light comes down with the very sort of ethereal smoke that drifts down, and as it sort of hits the ground and then disperses, it fades into sort of a normal, more kind of like you think of like fog machine type smoke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I point this out, kind of tracing the the motif with my finger and whatnot.
And when you say that it's recessed, is it like physically recessed, or does it just seem like it's like ending in a...
So the center of this room is, so it's a large circle, and the center circle, which is about probably 60 feet in diameter or something like that, is 3 or 4 steps sort of down, and they're like concentric steps going down. So the area that it pools is forming this kind of pool, and then it sort of wafts out as it will, and settles in the various other sort of cracks between the carvings in the floor and that sort of thing.
Okay, and but then what Roswell was just describing, you said that it like ended in this like circular sort of, is that like recessed into the wall, or is it just like, does it just like dead end? Or am I misunderstanding what these
the design patterns are just carvings in the columns and in the kind of outer walls of the thing.
Okay, and so there's the light coming down, this kind of like fog or mist is coming out, and it seems to be touching us without us like being hurt by it in any way.
I mean, none of you have gone into the center sort of waterfall of this, right?
No. The glowing part? No.
At this point, I would like to use the detect magic scroll.
Should I just use the wand?
I would also like to use the detect magic scroll.
That's fine.
Alright.
Either's fine.
Yeah, let's start with the skull first, and once that runs out, we can move on to other things.
It's not a normal spell in my spell book, so I'm just going to try to look it from the compendium.
All right, so casting it, looking around, obviously your party and the other two with you are aglow, abuzz with a lot of magic, sort of like very bright flashlights in the world of this. And then looking through, everything is dark outside past that, with the exception of in the very center of this circular recessed thing, you see through this kind of cloud of fog, there's a glowing circle that's maybe about 3 feet or so in diameter that just very brightly glows.
And does it get me beyond that?
You should
I
get
can
a
learn the
school of-
School of Magic, if any. That might not be narratively possible, but I'd like to if it's possible.
Yeah. I don't know what this would be translated into as a school, but you get the sense that it's a barrier or a portal or something sort of like that. Like it's a gateway, but magical in nature.
Okay, so I will say, and then Kidra also cast detect magic.
I can. Do we want me to?
No, I know you can. I'm just wondering if you do.
No, I haven't.
All right,
Save
then
it
I
for
will
right
announce
now.
to all, the detect magic has, besides everybody's massive accumulation of magical items and effects upon themselves, also has revealed that within the very center there's some sort of glyph or ward of an indeterminate nature, but it does appear to be very brightly magical. And
Okay.
It's dead center. I would dare say it's a gnome's length in size if you were laying down. Not me, I'm a little taller than your average gnome, so maybe an inch or two below me. But you understand.
Of course. I'm gonna hold up a copper piece. Should I just?
No, that's not the boatman. It's what are you doing?
Should I just throw it? See what happens.
Oh, yes.
It's worth seeing if it's a portal that we can go through or if something's going to come out. So yes, definitely throw.
I
Well,
throw.
it could be a
the copper
seal as
piece.
well. We don't know yet.
All right, so you throw it. Your ting ting sort of lands a little bit short, and ting ting ting, and then there's no final sort of tink as it sort of you'd imagine it would go past.
Okay.
So a barrier?
No, a portal.
Oh, it went through? Okay.
It sounded to me like it went through.
Yeah, you can't hear any of this, or you can't see any of this rather, because it's all sort of shrouded
Karut.
over. And yes,
Do you have the light spell?
I do not.
Or
I have-
any-
Ugh.
I have an idea.
Healthy.
I have an idea.
Yes.
Okay, I am going to throw a fuzzy ball.
Yes.
What? Where do you get a fuzzy ball
Oh
from?
no. Oh no.
What is it?
A giant elk.
All right, where are you throwing the ball?
down in front of us.
All right, so you throw it down, and this elk
Hazel!
appears.
Oh my god!
Oh, buddy.
It looks around, sort of turns and looks at you.
Sacrificial
How
elk.
big was the portal? Or
So 3
3
foot,
feet in diameter.
3 feet all.
I mean, maybe the elk could like stick its face in there.
Mr. Elk, go poke your head in that portal for me.
The elk sort of turns, and then you can hear the footfalls as he sort of echoes through, and just goes, and you lose sight of it before it gets to that center thing. And remember that only Numerius sees sort of where the center is at the moment, and there's enough of it raining down that there's probably like a 20-foot diameter just sort of pouring of the smoke coming down. And the elk kind of disappears into that.
It's magical, so I think Numera should be able to see the glow of that, right?
Yeah, we'll say, for the lack of this being completely irrelevant, that you can sort of see the silhouette of the elk there, and it goes and sort of
I have it on infrared. Go on.
yeah sticks
Target
its head down there and kind of like jostles its antlers a little bit, and its head kind of goes part of the way down below, but it doesn't. It sort of then like pulls it out and then kind of backs up a little bit.
Still having its head.
Still having its head.
That's good. That's good.
So it skitters a little bit and then kind of just backs up and then turns and comes out of the smoky area a little bit further.
How high is this issuance of smoke?
It's probably about 80 feet up. This whole area is just like this huge
dome.
And
yeah.
this is extremely a long shot, but with prestidigitation, is there any chance that I can like disturb the smoke away enough to?
With prestidigitation, a little localized area, you can just waft it. And it does affect it. It moves just sort of like a fog or a smoke you'd anticipate.
I'm
I'll
gonna
cast light on a dagger and kind of just hold it out.
Okay. The room illuminates with the
I'm
dagger
gonna
light.
take a few steps down.
Oh, wait, I can use this that I've never used before.
And as you try to link it, which will take forever. Oh, you found it.
Okay, there we go.
All right. In what way are you using that?
Whatever. So what were you trying to do with
Leaves
prestidigitation?
rustling.
I was trying to get a look at like the actual area where this portal is. Try to get a look at the portal itself.
Okay,
Conversely, I'm trying to find the issuance of the smoke.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and so the smoke that's like obscuring it, right? I want to like use gust to try and like dissipate it to the side so that we can get like a clear view through.
Okay. I mean, as you get in a little bit closer, you can kind of gust parts of it and it blows it off. And the room itself is just circular. It seems like it's the same stuff on the other side, the far side. If you get in closer towards where this circle is, you notice that there is sort of an emboss around the circle itself that's up a little bit from the area, and then there's this kind of shimmering. It's almost like this icy bluish color to it. It just kind of shivers and ebbs ever so slightly. Like it looks a little bit like water. Like it would be like a still pool of water that has like some wind blowing over it or something. A very like light breeze in its movement, but it's most definitely not like it's most definitely magical in nature as you look at it, and there is carving on the embossment around it.
What is that? Is it words?
There was no traps that the elk found, correct?
Nothing
So let's
seemed
go
to
take a
happen to
look,
the elk.
shall we?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of
I'll go help look at the carving.
yeah. You
Alright.
prestidigitate, gust, like try to
Yeah.
clear
So
stuff
as
away.
as all
after.
you sort of set up, and your other two wizards sort of come in, Karut able to go off. Elfie just kind of pulls out a parasol from her from her bag and sort of like puts it up, and the smoke kind of goes over it. And as you look down, and there is what appears to be writing that goes across and around all of this.
What language is it?
It is written in what appears to be an ancient form of Elvish.
Can I read it?
Can we read it?
You can certainly try.
I would like to, and I think you said that the smoke was coming from that upper dome, correct? Yes, just flowing
Yes.
down from that.
Yeah.
In answer to your question, Timur.
Yes, but where is it issuing from?
You can't see any sort of
There's
vent.
no magical anything.
No vent. I mean, the ceiling itself is sort of glowing, and now that you're kind of directly beneath it, you can see it does have it looks like there's almost like little like gems or like little sparkling things that kind of catch your eye and reflect the light back.
Rhinestones. All right.
It's bedazzled.
Okay. Can I read the thing?
Yes. It says, "Grains of time mark the passage to the end."
Make anything of that, Karut?
Well, it's clearly some type of metaphor, perhaps relating to the Rirkul's fixation with the concept of the inevitable annihilation of the universe.
Or maybe it's something more simple, like a riddle of some sort.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are trying to get to the end. Yes, they believed that shadow would subsume the earth. We are going to go use the shadow sword to unlock something. Ergo. So we just need to figure out what grains of time means.
On the there's columns, right? With
Mhm.
like decoration type. Is there any sort of grains of time? Like-
Give me an investigation
Like
roll.
corn. What other kind of grains are up there? Wheat.
Or rice.
Is there sand anywhere? Earth.
Wind.
Fire. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Investigation.
you
3.
Yeah, you don't.
broke it.
You don't see anything that resembles grains or anything like that, Kira. Looking around, Roswell, there's a little bit of sort of normal dust and dirt and such. Nothing in any large concentration or any of that. But it is sort of an old rocky ruin, essentially.
So there's
fairly good condition, but
there's all of these like there's carvings on the wall. You said there are carvings on the floor too.
the designs are mostly just on the columns themselves.
Is there any way I can like blow the mist like into them?
You can certainly try.
I would like to try to prestidigitate.
All right.
Like to try to get the mist to like fill in those patterns.
All right. As the mist comes in, it sort of wafts over, and as it crashes kind of upon the column itself, it does sort of go over, and some of it gets caught in there and just ebbs and flows down, but nothing magical, nothing beyond what you'd normally assume for smoke.
Just because I grab some of the dirt and rubble and throw it on the circle.
All right. You throw it in and it just disappears.
Okay.
Is the circle big enough for like a person to go through?
It's about 3 feet in diameter, so yes.
I'm gonna stick my head in the portal.
Okay.
All right.
I guess that's
I
happening.
guess my question is also, as she's making the best decision of the campaign, is this dome shape like maybe super similar to the top or bottom half of an hourglass?
It is dome shaped.
Yes, but is it dome or is it?
It's a
shapely dome?
it's a hemisphere.
Hemisphere.
An hourglass could it be hemispheric?
Yeah, but that'd be a boring hourglass. These guys were fancy schmancy.
Yeah. So, Kendra, sticking your head in, it's a very sort of disorienting effect. You kind of get this ringing in your ears, and it's very cold. It's not entirely pleasant, and you get the sense that you're trying to be drawn somewhere else. The force isn't strong enough to kind of just like pull you in, but it is.
Surrounds us, binds us.
It is kind of just
Midichlorian.
wants to draw things into it. But you don't.
Do I see anything on the other side?
No, you get the sense that you're not far enough in to get through whatever it is. It's not like a wafer thin portal.
I learned nothing.
I mean, is this a situation where we just throw ourselves bodily into the portal, like...
I mean, I could try and summon a smaller creature that can go fully inside.
But that wouldn't... I don't suppose either of you wizard types have, like a little, like...
Give us your
bird
familiar.
friend. Yeah, where's your familiar?
I don't
Wait.
have a familiar.
Effie is the familiar.
I prefer not to use familiars. I find they are too frequently killed, and frankly, that just breaks my heart.
That's fair. I mean, we were just talking about shoving one down a mysterious portal, so...
Yes.
Okay, hold on. While I consult my notes.
Uh-oh. Akira, how do you... Someone else has notes. I'm sorry.
I'm just seeing if summoning one creature gets rid of the last creature. It does not. Okay.
Not those types of notes.
All right.
What is Elky doing, by the way?
All right, we
just
got
chilling.
He's just chilling. He's just here with us. We got a boar this time.
All right.
Because that's...
Can a boar...
get stuck in the...
I want to see if the boar can fit through.
All right. Here. Kind of waddles its way over, sticks its head in, just disappears into the hole.
Okay.
Oh, is it Piglet? Wait.
I think we just need to go.
Will it come back? Let's find out.
Well, like, there's... Right, but there's no other passage, right? Like, there's no other openings or anything.
You guys haven't explored the whole room yet, so...
What else is in the room?
So, walking around, you find that the walls are kind of the same all the way around, and there are no other entrances or exits that are immediately apparent. The board does not come back.
I'm running out of ideas short of jumping bodily into the hole.
So who wants to go first?
I just feel like there's something more to this. The grains of time mark the passage to the end. We need to figure that out.
Yes, I mean, I also feel like this, but I also have no real way to figure it out, so...
So the smoke is just like falling to the ground, right?
Yes.
Can I inspect the ground? I want to investigate and look for some kind of button or like not hinge, but like a shape in the floor or anything.
Make an investigation roll.
Sure.
Akira, do you have a way to scry through things? Maybe you could take a look on the other side of this portal?
Looking around, you don't see anything sort of on the floor like that.
I mean,
I don't know how you're stuck.
No trapdoors or anything, just this circular portal.
I would like to do the same. I would like to look at the ceiling and see if there's anything.
Okay. Make an investigation roll.
You could have the elk lift you.
I cast guidance on Tebrin.
I accept this guidance and try to find my character sheet. Investigation.
Roll 20. That's when you look.
I have found it on roll 20.
Oh,
Excellent.
what if I could...
Much better. 20. Not natural.
All right. Looking up at the domed ceiling, it's hard to tell. It does seem like there's no gaps or breaks in it. That whatever this smoke that's falling is just sort of exuded from it. The texture or consistency there is it's a little bit rough, but it's very uniform all the way across, and it's this very, very deep kind of purplish blue, and it has little kind of hints that catch the light in it, almost like stars set into a night sky or something like that, that just kind of very faintly sort of shimmer and glow up there.
I don't suppose that are they actual constellations?
Make a nature check.
Nature. Two off a natural one.
Yes, they are.
There's Tebrin.
They are constellations.
Wait a minute.
Am I convinced?
Are there 12 columns?
No.
How many columns are there?
11.
There are 15 columns.
Okay, I just didn't know if we were on a clock.
Do the Rear Cool have extra hours in the day?
So, since I'm convinced that they are constellations, can I pick out any specific constellations?
Nope, you don't really know any constellations, but they do look like stars that are in constellations.
Okay, yeah, that
And
makes
that
sense.
one sort of looks like a cat.
I'm going to turn to whoever I'm standing next to and point out the cat.
Wow, you're right. That is. a cat.
He looks just like a cat. I mean, isn't there a constellation that looks like a cat?
I trust your wisdom on the matter. What should we do about the cat constellation?
Well, I don't know. I mean, stars move with
I would
time.
like to pet the constellation.
Effie, is there any references to the grains of time or anything like that?
I haven't heard of anything specifically, but this appears to be some sort of portal entrance and is literally the only way to go. I don't know whether it's a warning or a helpful phrase or some part of a larger series of information that's incomplete to us.
That's a very good point. As we get to the end of the temple, there would be something about time or Earth leading us there.
So we should just jump bodily into the portal.
Yes. Now somebody go first, or I'll do it.
I jump bodily into the portal.
All right. You go through into it,
Listening
and you just
for
see
screams.
and you just do you choose to scream as you jump in?
No.
All right. So let's change the music a little bit since something is happening.
Who knew? Who knew we could do something? Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't think that was possible.
Tebrin's predetermined death song,
Yes.
which is Fall Out Boy, I believe.
Probably.
All right. So, as you jump through, you find yourself immediately falling. I need you to make an acrobatics check to see, as you land, if you can kind of catch yourself.
So that's why the board didn't go back.
You have to land on the boar.
15.
All right. So you manage. You will only take
Poor bacon.
half of this damage.
Yeah, bye.
You only fall 30 feet about.
Okay.
So you'll take half of this. So 5 points of bludgeoning damage. You kind of catch yourself. So the room you're in now is a large cylindrical room, and up at the very top, you see this portal. It's about 30 feet up to that, but the floor you're on now is almost conical in shape. And then there's at the very center of it appears to be a hatch, maybe about 2 feet or so in diameter. So it's like 30 feet up, and then sort of this cone shape down to that hatch. And you don't see or hear anything looking back up through there. And the boar is kind of like down in there and just sort of like looks up at you as you come crashing down almost on top of it.
Hi, buddy.
Stick your thumb in there and point it up or down and see if anything happens.
Don't do that to the boar.
Wait. Sorry. So there's a oh god.
You broke Holly.
Sorry, can you describe the room for me one more time?
Yes. I will give you a little side drawing here.
That's the words.
Don't know what she's saying.
I heard squeaks.
I don't have proficiency in that language.
This may be backwards, so I don't know if. Yeah. So
no,
that's
I
the
can
room
read it.
that's the room you're in. So 30 feet down, the thing at the top is the portal, and then it's sort of conically shaped, and then there is at the very center. It's probably not quite proportionally drawn. There is a hatch that's maybe about, I don't know, that big, kind of like manhole cover size,
Okay.
made of wood, and it does have sort of like a handle right in the center of it.
I'm gonna try. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try to cast message back up through the portal to Roswell and be like, "Big drop, but I didn't die."
Okay.
Does it work?
Roswell, you hear Tebrin's message.
Okay.
You may reply to this message.
Okay. I'm gonna jump. And
Rope might be a good idea. I say recasting message.
All right. You hear rope as you begin to fall through the portal.
no, I was gonna cast guidance on myself and then jump.
Okay, that's fine.
Like legit,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I take a rope and is it too late?
You said you were gonna jump before.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, did she give this message to us before she jumped?
Nope.
Okay. Just checking.
All right, so in you go. I need an acrobatics check, please. All right, so you will take.
Hang on. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
What were the rolls that we're announcing out loud?
I rolled a 7, and then with my guidance, I got 1, so I got an 8 on my acrobatics.
All right, so as you sort of fall in, you just slam into the ground, and you're kind of expecting to land on something flat. You land on this sloped area, and your leg kind of like buckles underneath you a little bit. You take 15 points of bludgeoning damage. You just slam into the ground and kind of fall prone at the bottom and find yourself face to face with a boar. Tebrin just narrowly kind of.
It looks you.
She's like flattened against the wall.
Yeah.
I did say big drop.
Wait, you're pinned against the boar? Wait, did you wedge the boar?
I tried. So, I just jumped.
Right. You did your best. I'm going to cast message out to Kindra, and I'm going to say, "You will be fine, but may I suggest that you tie a rope and climb down rather than jump before you land on us and the boar."
I leap head for no. Apparently
Cannonball!
there's some kind of drop. Let's get some rope. I say, getting out some rope and looking around and finding a column to tie it to.
All right.
Do I do this? All fine.
Yep, you can tie around the column. You guys see the end of a rope stick down about 15 feet into the hole.
Just
And
really come to think of it, what we should have done in the first place. That should have been like step 1.
then I'm going to.
Yeah, why didn't you do that first? That was
Because I'm an idiot.
Then I'm going to
Yeah.
I am the
climb
village idiot.
through the portal down the rope.
You know.
All right, so you get to the end of your rope, and there's about 15 feet or so below you.
Catch me. I command the boar. No. I'll just try and drop and roll.
All right, give me an acrobatics check. All right, so you Go trying your best to look competent, but failing significantly, taking 3 points of bludgeoning damage as you sort of hit again, falling prone there with your 3 acrobatics check. Affy kind of turns to Karut, and Karut just sort of gives her a little head nod, and you see her just ignore the rope and just hop in. Those of you on the inside just see Affy just fall very slowly all the way, landing.
Counterspell.
Landing. You noticeably, you did not see her cast the spell. The rest of you, what are you doing?
I wish Kindred didn't jump so we could have the boar, or I'm sorry, the elk maybe hold on to the rope and be much closer and have more rope in the hole. But,
Could try and coax the elk.
we could just tie it around the elk's leg. It'll be the same thing. It's fine.
You dragged the elk into the hole.
No, it's a giant elk. There's not enough weight.
no way the elk can make it.
The elk could maybe put a leg in there or two, and it's like snout, but beyond that, it's not getting.
I'm just watching Karut to see exactly what he's gonna do.
Well, Akira or Karut, who wants to be next?
Karut, sort of seeing that you guys aren't budging, just goes and begins to head down.
Cut the rope.
Alright. Alright, Karut lands, kind of catches himself, sort of 3-point stance, gets up.
Go ahead, Akira.
Last. Okay. I'll jump. With the rope.
Okay, so climbing
You
down.
just grab it and then, but like, you pull it up and grab it and then like swan dive.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Is this acrobatics?
Acrobatics, yes, please.
That'd be a
Alright.
5.
You guys are great at this. So take 5 points of damage as you kind of fall again. That like sloped ground, not making an easy landing on you guys. It's also a little bit harder now that there's a bunch of people sort of now like up against the walls in here.
All right, well, here goes. And I'll start my climb down, and I'll say, it's your fault if you get crushed.
Yeah.
I'm wearing full plate, and I'm going to make my... does that even give me disadvantage or something?
Sure.
Is it acrobatics that it gives me disadvantage?
Acrobatics
No, it does.
at disadvantage. It's stealth, but
I'll just close my character sheet instead. That's a better way to deal with this. Dun, dun, dun.
right.
Acro. Oh, it's -1 anyway. Here we go. I'm super nimble and managed to get an 11.
All right, so you'll take half damage. Oof. So 5 points of damage from the fall.
Okay, that is accounted for. And I will also update it on Roll20.
How big is this room again?
So the room itself is 25 feet in diameter, and the area in the center, so it kind of like slopes down to a central spot, and there's like a hatch down in the center there. That area is about 5 feet in diameter, and then it kind of comes down at 45 degrees, so it's like big cylindrical room.
That the part of the hourglass, perhaps, that we pull?
It's not fancy enough. They're fancy schmancy elves.
Yeah.
This couldn't possibly be theirs. But if the dwarves built it, though, this is very utilitarian. Wait a minute.
Well, hey, we are utilitarian, but with some style.
Oh, no, no doubt.
Got a lot of style.
Art Deco, Art Nouveau.
Right. Let's open the hatch.
Art Garfunkel.
Is it wrapped and trapped?
I will check for traps on the door.
All right, make an investigation roll.
I will do this.
If this flips though, and we're gonna get buried in sand, I'm telling you, this is a '60s Joker trap for Batman.
16.
All right, does not appear to be trapped. There is a large sort of wrought iron handle in the center of it, though.
Okay, I will open it.
That's a good looking shield.
Right.
Wait a minute.
As you, yeah, it is about shield size. As you go pulling it, it comes off. It's a little bit kind of like wedged in there, but you do manage to pull it up. And beneath it, you see a very fine layer of sand, almost immediately beneath it. As you all sort of look down at that, you hear, and the rope behind you, or the rope above you, the section of it that was in, just sort of falls to the ground. And as you kind of look up, you see that portal close, and then the entire room lurches.
Can I grab for the edge of the...
Pig? What? The edge of the what?
No, the edge of the trapdoor.
You can certainly try. I'm going to need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw. The DC is going to be 15.
Oh.
24.
I improved from my previous 1 to a 2.
All right,
Like
so
this one bit.
So the whole room itself is sort of upright like this, and then the whole thing lurches, and in about the period of 5 seconds ends up so that up is down, down is up now, and you're all kind of down there. If you rolled a 15 or lower, you are now considered prone, as you just can't keep your footing underneath there. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
I can't without selecting an icon.
Let me do this, and you can drag yourselves out onto this map. I need to make rolls for these two kids. So, Karut is prone, Affy is not.
God, I love being a dex-based character.
God, I love being a charisma-based character.
I love being a gnome-based character.
God, I love being a DM-based character. Anyone else have any more?
Oh, that's how you spell her name.
That is not how I expected it to be spelled.
I have been spelling it aggressively incorrectly.
I was like
She
E-F-I.
showed us
I was
last
doing
time.
E-F-F-I-E. Did she?
Yeah,
Oh.
because I had it right in my notes.
Oh, that's on me then.
I
think
didn't
all of my
consider her
spelling
spelling
for all the
important at
names are
all.
Incorrect.
All right. So, as you all sort of tumble down, head over heels, down here, you notice immediately that the sand above you begins to pour down on top of you. Tebrin, what would you like to do?
Did I manage to catch a hold of the edge?
You grasping up, it's all sort of smooth up there. There's not really anything to hold on to. So you kind of stick your hand in, grasping at it, but you can't quite manage through.
Okay, so I'm on the ground.
Yeah, so you kind of tumbled your way, and the thing didn't like instantaneously flip, so you kind of go like a lot down along the walls and end up at the bottom.
Okay.
And the
Will
sand,
they escape this dastardly?
yeah.
This is ridiculous.
This is like very Riddler.
Gotcha, Batman.
Well,
Wait,
fuck.
that wasn't the Riddler.
That's Penguin. Close.
That was
What
Rocky's
would you
plan.
like to do?
I don't know. Can I suggest to the sand that it stop doing this? I don't have any spells that are useful for this. And so it's 30 feet up?
It's 30 feet up, and then another... So it's technically from the floor to where the hatch was. That's 40 feet, because it does slope up a little bit, too.
If you take the pig and you shove it.
Yeah, the pig is on its back on the ground, too.
Perfect.
Grains of time mark the passage to the end. And and you said the other
Of
one...
our lives.
Is there any... And you said the portal disappeared. Was there any? Is it like that? Literally, like the ground at our feet now is just like completely 100% blank, or is there any evidence of it?
There's no evidence of the portal. It's just like carved stone.
Oh.
I'm gonna make a sand angel since I'm prone.
Can I get up to the trap door? Can I try to like parkour my way up there?
Do you have a climb speed?
No.
Okay, so I need you to make an athletics check to begin climbing, and you'll move at half speed.
Sure, can't be acrobatics. Okay.
It's a smooth. I'm sure it's like a DC 10.
It's,
all right.
I got 16.
So you do manage to. It's not a totally smooth wall, and there are enough. You manage to kind of get your fingers in. It's kind of like right at the threshold of what you're able to do, but you do manage to climb 15 feet up the wall.
Bonus action dash.
All right, continuing. So you're now at the sort of curved upwards part right at that. So it's kind of now overhanging. And there's 10 more feet sort of vertically up there because it's just a 45-degree angle in. As you pull your way up, the sand now just pouring down past you.
And there's like... Seemed like closing it would do any good. Is there? Do I get a sense if there's any way I could like tie some rope to that wrought iron handle and drop it down to?
Well, so you pulled that hatch open. It's sort of like a cork in a bottle. So that came out, and that's down.
Oh,
in the
it wasn't
bottom.
attached at all.
It's not hinged. Yeah, you just pulled it up and out.
And from previous attempts, like, there's no way for me to like. Do I get any sort of sense in like peering up? Like, is there another room beyond it?
There is a large volume of sand falling down upon you. You're guessing that the sand maybe is coming from somewhere, but it's impossible to know.
I'm just gonna hold on to the wall.
Okay.
And end my turn.
All right. So at initiative 20, the room down below is now filled with 10 feet of sand.
Oh, Jesus.
In one round, are we dead?
Anyone who is prone is going to make this next save at disadvantage. And I need anyone who's still in the bottoms, this is everybody but Tebren, to make strength saves just to see if you can kind of like shield yourself from this massive weight that's coming down on top. And this will be for half damage.
13.
9.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
7? Sorry.
19.
All right, the DC is 13. So fail. They would have been disadvantaged, but they failed anyway. All right, so damage is coming at you. It's 11 points of bludgeoning damage for full. And standing or prone or not, those of you down below are all completely buried now, and you're all considered suffocating. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Good, great.
Wait,
Love it.
We didn't even get a round.
I would have ended on the cliffhanger before we started combat, but it starts on initiative 20, so... What's your passive perception, Tebren?
19.
So you do notice that occasionally in the particulate falling down, you see small things that look like they're not just fine grains of sand in there.
Oh, look, bones from the last people.
can I tell what they are, or is that a perception roll for next round?
Nope.
You know
just
what
see
it
things
is?
that aren't.
It's probably the ash from all the burnt elves.
Oh,
That's really
That's
dark.
just mean.
we don't know that they were all burnt.
All right. Welcome to the Temple of the Elders.
Boy.
It's like this elemental evil temple.
Well, that puzzle.
God, I hate puzzles.
It's not really a puzzle.
It feels like a puzzle.
Puzzlers don't get suffocated.
Was this the only room option we could have gone into?
Yes, that we saw.
Only one that you saw.
Okay. Interesting.
Cool. Fun to be had by all.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, don't worry. That's why we brought these two NPCs. They're gonna fix it.
So we brought the boar that's now dead.
I am more concerned about the mystery wisdom saves personally.
I'm
I
that was
don't like
weird.
any save that is not explained to me.
I'm just concerned about what the elk's gonna do if we don't come back.
Become a permanent resident.
What
Roll.
does happen to your little bag of animals?
They disappear at dawn.
Hmm.
Unless a certain scientist experiments on them and turns them into freakish monsters.
No, it's impossible. But I'll have you know that underground there is no dawn.
That's what I was about to bring up.
I mean,
But
there
we're
is
on the
still-
material plane where there
There
is
is
a dawn.
still dawn.
It's
No.
a material plane.
Just because you're underground doesn't mean time ceases to exist.
Not time, dawn. Dawn requires horizon.
Right, but there's still a horizon.
There's no horizon underground.
There's still a horizon.
No.
They don't have
No.
to be touched by the morning sun to disappear.
That's what gets them.
The morning sun.
Or maybe the dew point, because that changes. You know how that is.
Well, on that note of
Wait, we're still live. Wait, what?
meteorological things, welcome back as we rush
the
towards the
age of
thrilling
Jive.
finale of this current story arc.
We'll be suffocating for a week.
You'll all
Try
be
not to
suffocating
die.
for a week, and you can all think of what the hell you're gonna do, because it's not something you can just shoot to death.
You watch me.
Yeah.
I intend to continue clinging to the wall like some sort of like emo spider.
Monkey. All right, cool. Well,
I-
thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for playing. See you next week at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time now, an hour earlier than we were doing before. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time as we try to get the staff of the elders.
I can't believe this took that kind of slant.
Oh my god.
Oh.